You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Security Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Alert response refers to the immediate set of actions taken when a monitoring or detection system generates a signal that something suspicious may be occurring. These actions are designed to stabilize the situation quickly, prevent potential escalation, and begin the process of investigation. Response does not mean jumping directly into remediation. It means acknowledging the alert, ensuring it is routed to the right team, and initiating steps that prevent loss of visibility or further exposure. Hardened organizations treat alert response as a frontline defense capability. When handled with discipline, it transforms raw detections into structured workflows that reduce uncertainty and speed the path to accurate decisions. Validation is the next stage, confirming whether the alert represents genuine malicious activity or a benign event. Not every detection indicates a real attack. False positives are common, and environments often produce noisy signals. Validation separates fact from noise by applying context, evidence, and judgment. The goal is to ensure that security teams do not waste resources on phantom threats while also preventing genuine compromises from being ignored. A disciplined validation step protects both efficiency and accuracy, ensuring the organization responds meaningfully to the alerts that truly matter. The triage funnel provides a structured way to process alerts efficiently. It begins with enrichment, where additional context such as asset owner, system criticality, and recent changes is added to the raw alert. Next comes a context check, which compares the alert against baselines and operational knowledge to see if the behavior can be explained. Finally, analysts attempt to reproduce the event or escalate it for deeper investigation. This funnel reduces noise while preserving speed. Hardened organizations design triage funnels so that analysts know exactly which steps to take, avoiding random investigations or inconsistent decision-making. Minimal evidence is required to validate an alert, and knowing what to collect prevents wasted effort. At a baseline, source logs identify when and where the event occurred. Process lineage shows which activities led up to the event, clarifying if they were benign or suspicious. Network endpoints provide details about communications involved, offering insight into external or internal actors. These evidence points create a compact but meaningful snapshot of the alert. Hardened organizations ensure analysts are trained to collect this minimum set quickly, giving them enough data to make validation decisions without being buried in excessive details. Containment-first thinking is especially important for high-severity alerts. When alerts indicate possible ransomware, credential compromise, or active exploitation, immediate containment may be necessary before validation is fully complete. Actions like isolating a host from the network, blocking malicious domains, or revoking compromised credentials reduce risk while investigations continue. These measures must be precise and minimally disruptive, but delaying them can lead to irreversible damage. Hardened organizations embed containment playbooks into their validation processes, ensuring that analysts can act decisively when alerts threaten business-critical assets. Communication templates help ensure that the right people are informed consistently during alert response. Templates may include information for system owners, IT administrators, and incident response teams, detailing what was detected, what actions were taken, and what support is needed. Having pre-built templates reduces delays and prevents miscommunication during stressful moments. Hardened programs standardize these messages, balancing clarity with discretion so that communication helps align stakeholders without tipping off adversaries or spreading unnecessary alarm. Playbook-driven response adds further structure, especially for common alert types. For malware detections, the playbook might instruct analysts to quarantine the file, isolate the host, and submit samples for sandbox analysis. For credential compromise alerts, steps might include revoking tokens, resetting passwords, and checking for related login anomalies. Data exfiltration playbooks may guide analysts to verify traffic patterns, validate destinations, and escalate for containment. Hardened organizations rely on playbooks to transform alerts into predictable actions, minimizing delays and ensuring consistent outcomes across teams and analysts. Safe investigation practices are critical to avoid tipping off an active attacker. Probing a compromised account or sending test traffic to a malicious server may reveal to adversaries that they are being monitored. Analysts must balance gathering evidence with stealth, preserving operational visibility. For example, pulling logs and reviewing endpoint activity can be done silently, while direct probing might be avoided until containment is ready. Hardened programs train staff to investigate discreetly, ensuring attackers do not accelerate or pivot their activities because they sense discovery. Roles and responsibilities during validation must be clearly defined. Analysts perform triage, gather evidence, and propose containment steps. The incident commander or designated senior staff evaluates escalation decisions and coordinates communication. Without clear ownership, alerts risk falling through gaps or being acted on inconsistently. Hardened organizations assign explicit responsibilities, ensuring that every alert is validated with both technical rigor and managerial oversight. This structure creates accountability and accelerates response. Time-stamped notes and evidence preservation turn investigations into auditable, defensible processes. Each action taken, from pulling a log to isolating a host, should be recorded with a timestamp, linking actions to results. Preserving evidence such as logs, process details, and communications ensures that investigations can be reconstructed later for audits, regulatory reviews, or legal proceedings. Hardened programs treat this documentation as part of validation, not an afterthought, ensuring that every investigation creates a reliable trail of activity and decision-making. Escalation thresholds define when an alert should be promoted to an incident. For example, confirmation of malicious code execution, validated credential theft, or verified data exfiltration might meet escalation thresholds. These thresholds must be predefined and consistent so analysts do not hesitate or guess in critical moments. Hardened organizations codify escalation triggers into their workflows, ensuring that alerts are escalated consistently when evidence meets defined criteria. This prevents both underreaction and overreaction, keeping incident response proportionate to risk. Validation is ultimately about discipline, ensuring that responses are evidence-driven, consistent, and defensible. Wide-scale remediation actions, such as system shutdowns, resets, or policy changes, should never be taken before validation confirms that alerts represent true threats. Skipping this step risks unnecessary disruption and wasted resources. Hardened organizations reinforce validation as a cornerstone of monitoring workflows, emphasizing that accuracy matters as much as speed. Through disciplined validation, they direct their responders toward the real threats that require decisive and coordinated action. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Automated enrichment accelerates the validation process by attaching critical context to alerts as soon as they are generated. Instead of analysts manually looking up which asset was involved, who owns it, or whether recent configuration changes occurred, enrichment pipelines add this information automatically. Threat intelligence feeds can also flag known malicious IPs, domains, or file hashes. By the time an analyst opens an alert, they already see the enriched context needed to decide whether it is benign or malicious. Hardened organizations prioritize automated enrichment because it shortens validation cycles and reduces the likelihood of missing crucial details. Sandboxing suspicious files or URLs is a safe method for validation. Executing potentially dangerous items in an isolated environment allows analysts to observe behavior without risking production systems. For example, a suspicious attachment can be detonated in a sandbox to see whether it spawns processes, modifies registry keys, or attempts network communication. URLs can be tested in controlled browsers to observe redirects or payload delivery. Hardened programs integrate sandboxing into validation workflows, using it to confirm whether alerts represent real threats while keeping critical assets protected. Containment actions should be reversible and designed for speed. Network ACL changes that block suspicious IP addresses, quarantining endpoints, or temporarily disabling accounts can all reduce risk while allowing investigations to continue. The key is to design containment steps that can be rolled back if an alert turns out to be a false positive. Hardened organizations build containment playbooks with safe defaults, ensuring teams can act quickly without fear of irreversible consequences. This makes containment a proactive but controlled step in the validation process. Validation checklists bring consistency and auditability to alert handling. A checklist might include verifying the triggering event in logs, reviewing recent user or system changes, cross-referencing threat intelligence, and determining whether containment is required. By following structured checklists, analysts reduce variability in their responses and ensure critical steps are never skipped under pressure. Hardened environments standardize checklists across alert classes, making validation systematic and ensuring evidence is captured at each step. Certain indicators require immediate external notification, particularly when regulatory thresholds are crossed. For example, confirmed exposure of personally identifiable information may trigger legal reporting requirements within strict timelines. Similarly, incidents affecting critical infrastructure may require notification to government agencies. Hardened organizations define these triggers clearly in their validation playbooks, ensuring analysts know when to escalate beyond internal teams. This clarity prevents hesitation and ensures compliance obligations are met consistently and on time. Logging and chain of custody captured during validation preserve the integrity of forensic evidence. Each artifact collected, whether a log file, memory dump, or suspicious executable, must be documented with timestamps, handlers, and storage details. This record ensures evidence remains admissible in investigations or legal proceedings. Hardened programs treat chain of custody as integral to validation, embedding it into analyst workflows so that evidence is never questioned later. This practice strengthens accountability and supports trustworthy incident reconstruction. Validation-driven tuning improves monitoring accuracy over time. Alerts that consistently prove false should lead to suppression or refinement of detection rules. Conversely, alerts that reliably indicate malicious activity can be strengthened with tighter logic or higher priority. This iterative cycle ensures monitoring systems evolve in response to real-world results. Hardened organizations formalize this feedback, making validation outcomes a direct input into tuning schedules. Over time, this reduces noise and improves signal quality across the monitoring environment. Ambiguous, high-impact validations often require the judgment of senior analysts. When evidence is inconclusive but the potential business impact is severe, escalation to more experienced staff ensures decisions are made with appropriate expertise. These analysts bring deeper technical knowledge and broader perspective, reducing the risk of overreaction or missed escalation. Hardened organizations define these escalation points in their workflows, ensuring difficult cases receive the attention of those best equipped to interpret them. Post-validation steps ensure alerts feed into broader improvements. Once an alert is confirmed and contained, analysts should conduct root cause analysis to identify why it occurred. Remediation tickets must be created to address underlying vulnerabilities or misconfigurations. Detection rules should be updated to improve accuracy. This ensures that each validation strengthens both security posture and monitoring capability. Hardened organizations see validation as the bridge between detection and long-term resilience, using it to prevent the same issue from recurring. Metrics help measure the quality of validation. Percent of alerts validated indicates how effectively teams are separating signal from noise. Average validation time reflects efficiency, while reopen rates highlight whether alerts were closed prematurely. Tracking these measures provides leaders with insight into both operational discipline and detection accuracy. Hardened organizations use validation metrics to guide staffing, training, and rule tuning, ensuring the process remains both effective and accountable. Documentation standards transform validation into a repeatable, transparent process. Each validated alert should include evidence, actions taken, containment decisions, and outcomes. This documentation supports audits, informs lessons learned, and provides training for newer analysts. Without it, validation remains a tribal practice dependent on individual memory. Hardened programs enforce structured documentation, ensuring that every alert contributes to a growing knowledge base that strengthens the entire organization. Ultimately, rigorous validation prevents unnecessary disruption and focuses responders on genuine threats. It ensures that alerts lead to evidence-backed actions, not hasty decisions. Hardened organizations understand that speed is vital, but accuracy is equally important. By embedding disciplined validation into monitoring workflows, they reduce wasted effort, comply with regulatory requirements, and sharpen their defenses against real adversaries. Validation is the safeguard that transforms raw alerts into trustworthy signals of malicious activity, guiding responders with confidence. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.